Now, a rare two-man mission has blasted off for the International Space Station. The Soyuz capsule is carrying an American on his first trip to the ISS and a veteran Russian cosmonaut. After a 6-hour journey to the ISS, the duo will join 3 other crew members already on board the orbiting lab. RT's Emily Sue was at the launch for us.
Here at the Baikonur Cosmodrome, we're literally just seconds away from blastoff. Looks like this moment we've all here been waiting for is just about to happen. Let's take a look. Blastoff! That was incredible to watch in broad daylight, to see that powerful rocket blast off into orbit. Now, during my stay here, I also got a chance to see that rocket you saw just blast off into the sky there up close. And also, I chatted with the astronauts to discuss the details of their mission as they made their last-minute preparations. Here's a report I filed earlier. Behind me is the Soyuz rocket. For the first time in years, the capsule will transport not 3, but 2 crew as Russia trims down its manpower on the International Space Station, leading to the big question, what will be in that $70 million empty seat instead?
There will be an empty seat on the capsule. I want to ask you guys what exactly will be in that seat, and if it's up to you, what or who will you bring in that seat?
We're carrying some cargo up to the station in that 3rd seat, and I know I speak for Fyodor when I say if we could figure out how to fit Larissa and Elizabeth in that seat, that's who we'd take with us.
But when we asked Elizabeth, the wife of NASA flight engineer Jack Fisher, if she'd jump on board, she didn't seem too keen.
If the Sokol suit didn't squish me into such a small seat, I would consider it, but I get claustrophobic.
But the seat will be filled on the capsule's return journey, bringing home NASA biochemist Peggy Whissen in September after an extended 9-month mission on the ISS. One experiment she'll conduct with her crewmates is the kind of thing you might have seen Matt Damon try in the movie The Martian.
You gotta make water and grow food on a planet where nothing grows. I am the greatest botanist on this planet.
Commander Fyodor Yurchikhin hopes to make the Russian fermented milk product kefir in zero gravity to help sustain crews on extended space missions in the future, such as to Mars.
Making kefir on board the International Space Station in zero gravity is a unique experiment.
Probiotic research is a very interesting area. I'm sure this will lead to scientific achievements and provide practical value for astronauts, as we will be able to get fresh dairy products on board.
This is his 5th journey into orbit, but it's a first for the NASA astronaut. And he's definitely more excited than anxious.
How I feel right now, it doesn't feel real. Tomorrow, I might freak out a little bit when I see the rocket. That's going to be awesome. I can't wait.
Soyuz rockets have been the Russian space industry's workhorse from day one, when pioneer Yuri Gagarin reached for the stars in 1961. Decades later, it's the turn of Russian commander Fyodor Yurchikhin and NASA flight engineer Jack Fisher's turn to make their 4,000-kilometer journey to their zero-gravity home to help humanity uncover more secrets from space. Emily Sue reporting from the Baikonur Cosmodrome for RT.
And right now they are 4 hours away from the ISS. More news after this.
People with stories to tell. Those who deserve to be heard. Studied inside out, but still with unrevealed secrets. Leaders, politicians, thinkers, and witnesses. They're here to speak. Are you there to hear?
20 minutes past 12 midday this Thursday afternoon here in Moscow. Welcome back. Washington says Iran is still threatening U.S. interests, the Middle East, and the entire world. U.S. Defense Secretary James Mattis said on Wednesday that overcoming Tehran's destabilizing influence was crucial.
Everywhere you look, if there's trouble in the region, you find Iran. So right now what we're seeing is the nations in the region and others elsewhere trying to checkmate Iran and the amount of disruption, the amount of instability they can cause.
Well, allied to that, Washington has also ordered a review of the nuclear deal with Iran that was brokered back in 2005 by the Obama administration. The U.S. Secretary of State slammed the pact, saying it had failed to achieve the objective of a non-nuclear Iran. But that is despite the U.S. admitting that Tehran has met its obligations under the agreement.
The evidence is clear. Iran's provocative actions threaten the United States, the region, and the world. The JCPOA fails to achieve the objective of a non-nuclear Iran. This deal represents the same failed approach of the past that brought us to the current imminent threat we face from North Korea.
It's worth reminding that a much-touted nuclear deal was signed between the United States and Iran, seen largely as the legacy of the Obama administration. But now the new administration, the Trump White House, they're not big fans of this deal. This deal has been largely criticized as one of the biggest failures of Obama's foreign policy. And for months now, we've been hearing constant accusations flying back and forth between Tehran and Washington.
They have total disregard for our country. They are the #1 terrorist state.
This is the single biggest state sponsor of terrorism in the world.
Instead of being thankful to the United States in these agreements, Iran is now feeling emboldened.
Our weapons are solely for defending our country and nothing else. Therefore, we shouldn't allow some people to create an unhealthy atmosphere in the region.
We will never, repeat, never, and get the same statement from those who are complaining. Never use them against anybody, unless in self-defense.
And also one of the things we've been hearing from Washington lately is that it may review sanctions against Iran. That is despite the confirmation that Iran has been complying with its part of the deal, and there's no a need for further sanctions. But the Washington administration now says that new sanctions may correspond with the national interests of the country. And also one aspect which led a lot of analysts to speculate in this context is what kind of signal would it send to North Korea and its nuclear program, seeing that despite the deal in place, it doesn't seem to work out between Washington and Tehran.
To South America now, and in Venezuela, at least 3 people have been killed, dozens injured during anti-government riots the opposition have billed as the mother of all marches. Clashes between security forces and protesters broke out in the capital Caracas and in the city of San Cristobal. Thousands of Venezuelans protested against President Nicolas Maduro, blaming the current government for dictatorial measures and the country's deep economic crisis. Protesters also demanded an early presidential election. Police used tear gas on the protesters who blocked roads with makeshift barriers. A rival march was held nearby in support of Maduro. Well, for the last 30 years, an American man and his family have been trying to prove to the U.S. government that he's actually still alive. Adam Ronning was mistakenly declared dead at the age of 4. The error was apparently put down to a computer glitch in the Social Security Administration. His mother found out about his apparent death when the government demanded child benefit money be returned. And the family have been trying to bring Adam back to life ever since.
I got a letter from the Social Security Administration stating that I needed to return child support payments because Adam was dead. And I called up the Social Security Administration and I said, well, what do you mean he's dead? And they said, well, he died in May. I was shocked. I didn't understand how that could have happened. They had me bring him down to the Social Security Administration with papers, medical papers, dental papers. They talked with Adam separately and determined that he was indeed alive, and he was who I said he was. They said that they would issue a certificate of resurrection, and I thought everything was fine until
2009. I went to go file my IRS tax return in 2009, and I have a letter in here somewhere saying that the one dependent I was claiming, which was myself, was not eligible for a tax refund, so they gave me half of my tax refund, and that paperwork is here, the adjusted refund, because my Social Security number belongs to a dead person. And yeah, it's been happening ever since.
Adam says he did not get a tax refund because the IRS told him he was dead, and dead people don't get refunds.
I've spent hours on the phone with both the IRS. I've been into Social Security multiple times. Well, I tried to get a car loan, and I was denied the car loan. I tried to get a bank account. They sent me back paperwork saying that I couldn't open a bank account with them because I was deceased. My W-2s from last year, it shows how much money I made and how much money I gave to the federal government. So they took out $6,301.74. Supposed to get over $3,000 back from the government. There's also like a child credit of $1,000. But I won't see any of it until something changes. I sent them the piece of paper that said that I was resurrected, and they didn't do anything about it. They just sent me out something saying that, you know, you're dead and you're not eligible for a refund.
Now to the very much alive Max and Stacey, it's the Kaiser Report.